Picture this. It's a clear morning in Arlington, and the guard at the tomb stands still as a statue, with his boots making a perfect echo. Then, out of nowhere, a loud and rude SWAT team shows there, and their leader shoots a taser right into the guard's leg. The crowd gasps, but the soldier doesn't move, doesn't fall, and just keeps walking toward the unknown. Visitors are startled. There are whispers in the air. What kind of man can take a hit like that and not break? What they don't know is that a 4-star general is already on his way to the plaza and is watching from the shadows. He's going to tell everyone what this place and that tomb guard stand for. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe before we move on with this great story. Please tell us in the comments where you are watching from as well. And if you still think that values like honor, bravery, and sacrifice are vital, help us keep their memories alive. In Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia, it's a bright fall morning not long after sunrise. The white headstones stretch on forever, and there is a thin layer of mist over them. The air is fresh and pure. They lie down like peaceful soldiers, each one remembering a life that was given for something bigger. The most important feature is the tomb of the unknown soldier. It feels like this sad marble slab is carrying up the weight of history. Families, veterans, and school kids are already coming to this place where words fail and silence says louder than any voice ever could. Danny, or Sergeant Daniel Carter, stands guard under the marble arch. He is 28 years old and a member of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, which is also called the Old Guard. He was chosen to be a tomb sentinel. Danny isn't very tall, maybe 5'10", but he walks like he's made of iron. His uniform is well pressed, and the creases are sharp enough to cut bread. He holds his M14 rifle steady in his white-gloved hands, and stares at a place that only he can see. He walks 21 steps, stops, turns around, and then walks 21 steps back. It's not just a march, it's a pledge to remember the soldiers who never made it home. Danny knows what it's like to make sacrifices. He did 2 tours in the Middle East and saw things that most people can't even imagine. A roadside bomb killed half of his squad and left a scar on his left forearm. He doesn't talk about it or post about it on social media. To him, the real heroes are the ones who didn't get to tell their stories, the ones who are buried under that marble. That's why he's here. That's why he volunteered for this duty. It's not about glory. It's about giving a voice to the voiceless. Today, the crowd is quiet out of respect. A dad holds his daughter's hand and points at Danny, whispering about honor. An older veteran in a faded army cap watches with tears in his eyes, remembering friends who didn't make it back. A group of high schoolers, who are usually loud and distracted, stand quietly with their phones down, feeling like they're part of something bigger. Click, click, click. Danny's boots establish a pattern that echoes through the plaza. 21 steps, a pause, and a turn. It's like the heartbeat of the country itself. But that rhythm is about to be shattered. 3 black SUVs pull up across the plaza, their tires crunching on the gravel path. They shouldn't be here. Arlington has strict rules, and random cars don't just pull up to the tomb. The door of the lead SUV swings open, and Lieutenant Mike Brennan, 38, a SWAT team leader from a local police department, steps out. He's broad-shouldered, dressed in tactical gear, and has a swagger that says he's used to being the toughest guy in the room. 4 more SWAT officers get out behind him, all wearing vests, holsters, and tasers on their belts. They are apparently here for some kind of joint training exercise that was approved by higher-ups, but the way they walk reveals that they don't care much about the rules of this location. Brennan glances across the square, and the morning light reflects off his mirrored sunglasses. He notices Danny in the middle of the march and smirks. He whispers to his crew, loud enough for nearby tourists to hear, "Man, look at this guy. Is he a toy that winds up?" Officer Jenna Torres, who is younger than the other cops, doesn't laugh. She wanders around nervously and stares at the crowd, but she doesn't say anything. The tourists are moving around and seem nervous. A park ranger who is positioned at the rope barrier steps forward and says in a calm but firm voice, "Sir, this is a restricted area. No one who isn't permitted is allowed past this stage." Brennan doesn't pause to produce his badge. "Lieutenant Mike Brennan, Tactical Response Unit. We're here for work joint ops training. We got the green light from the top." The ranger stops for a moment to check his iPad. "Sir, I don't have any record of." Brennan cuts him off and says, "Hey, calm down. We're just looking, not a problem." He walks past the barrier and his crew follows him. The crowd parts like water around a shark. Brennan stops a few feet from Danny, who has stopped at the end of his march with his weapon at his shoulder and his eyes straight ahead. Brennan tilts his head, sizing him up like he's a carnival attraction. So, this is it, huh? The big event. A man in a stylish uniform going back and forth like a robot. What is the point? Are you protecting a ghost or something? Danny doesn't blink. His face is like stone and his body is stiff. 21 seconds go by, and then he turns, as precise as a metronome, and starts his next set of steps. Click, click, click. Brennan laughs again, this time louder. Oh, come on, man. You don't say anything? Don't move unless the script says to? He pulls a protein bar out of his pocket, unwraps it, and eats loudly. I bet I could wave this in your face and you wouldn't even flinch. You trained to be a statue, huh? The ranger gets closer and talks more sharply. Sir, you're interrupting a ceremonial detail. Please step back. Calm down, man, Brennan says as he waves him off. I'm just making sure the man is paying attention. Allies, right? Everyone is on the same team, he says with a smile as he glances at his crew. I'll bet you $20 he's sleeping under that hat. The crowd is getting angry. A mother draws her child closer and says, Why is he being mean to the soldier? Disrespectful punk, an older man in an army cap says quietly to himself. Jenna Torres moves again, her hand on her taser. She looks nervously back and forth between Brennan and the crowd. She knows this isn't right, but she's not high enough in rank to stand up to him yet. Brennan's smile goes away and is replaced by something tougher. He's not used to being ignored, and Danny's quiet is getting on his nerves. You know, he says as he gets closer to the march path, this whole thing is a farce. You're out here playing dress-up while real cops and soldiers are out there doing their duties. He taps his skull. You think this impresses anyone? A man who can't even move? Danny walks 21 steps, pauses, and turns. His eyes stay on him, and he doesn't modify his position. Brennan's jaw tightens. Fine, okay. Let's see how tough you really are. He takes off the black and yellow taser and holds it up like a trophy. Just a little test, he says loudly enough for everyone to hear. Training exercise, not a big deal. The ranger jumps forward and yells, Sir, you can't. Not enough time. Brennan takes aim and fires. The taser darts hit Danny in the thigh, just below the polished belt of his uniform. The electric buzz cuts through the morning air, sharp and ugly. Danny's body tenses, and his grip on the rifle gets so tight that blood seeps through his white glove, staining it red. His jaw clenches, but he doesn't fall. He doesn't cry out. He doesn't break his stance. The crowd gasps. A kid shouts, Mommy, he hurt him. The veteran with the cap starts to move forward with his fists clenched, but he pauses because he knows he can't cross the line. Brennan steps back and smiles like he has won something. See? The statue is still there. You're a tough guy, huh? His crew laughs nervously, but Jenna's face is pale. She says, Mike, that was too much. Brennan shrugs and replies, It's a taser, Jenna. Low voltage. He is fine. Look at him. And Danny is okay. Or at least he looks fine. He is still standing, his eyes concentrated on that area that can't be seen, and his rifle is steady. The taser darts hang from his thigh, and a dark burn mark spreads across his blue trousers. But his face is a mask of discipline, and his body is a monument to duty. People aren't quiet out of respect anymore. They're shocked, like the air before a storm. Inside the nearby security station, a ranger clicks a button that says, Urgent Incident. Radios crackle. The incident is now more than just a small problem. It's a crime against something very valuable. Someone else in the cemetery is already walking toward the plaza. This individual has the power to make things right, and has been doing so for decades. It feels like hours go by in the following few minutes. Danny's blood, which is still pouring through his glove, keeps getting darker, yet he starts his next march. Click, click, click. 21 steps. Stop, turn. The crowd watches in awe as he walks through the pain like it's just another day. The taser's sting is still there, but Danny is thinking of the soldiers who are buried beneath the tomb. They went through worse than a shock and never came home. He's not here for himself. He's here for them. Brennan is still talking, trying to fill the silence with bluster. Come on, man. You felt that, didn't you? It's not a bad thing. His voice is becoming louder, but it's starting to shatter. Jenna's team isn't laughing anymore. Jenna is staring at the ground and her hand is twitching as if she wants to say something but can't find the words. People are staring at Danny, not at Brennan. Someone in the headgear remarks, That boy's got more guts than all of them put together, loud enough for others to hear. A new person comes from the direction of the Memorial Amphitheater. It's General William Hayes, a 62-year-old four-star general in the United States Army. He walks into the plaza, tall and silver-haired, with a uniform so crisp it could stand on its own. His face is weathered but calm, and his eyes are sharp enough to cut through steel. He isn't rushing or yelling. He's just going with a purpose that makes everyone else stop and pay attention. 2 military police officers are on either side of him, and a young assistant with a radio is following him. As General Hayes gets closer, people move out of the way. Brennan sees him, and for the first time his smirk goes away. He stands up straight and tries to look official. "General, sir," he says with a half-hearted salute. "Lieutenant Mike Brennan, Tactical Response Unit. Just doing a training exercise, sir. No harm meant." General Hayes doesn't salute back. He pauses a few feet away from Brennan and looks at him with a steady gaze, as if he were looking through him instead than at him. "Explain," he says. His voice is low, but it sounds like a man who has told thousands of people what to do. Brennan stutters. "Well, sir, we're here for a joint ops drill. I was merely checking to see how the guard would react. It's normal to verify their situational awareness." Hayes doesn't move. "You shot a taser at a guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Is that what you mean by standard procedure?" The crowd is quiet now, and everyone is looking at the general. His words are soft, but they hit hard. Brennan's face gets red. "Sir, it was a low voltage and not fatal. Look at him. He's fine. He's still there." Hayes turns to the tomb, not Danny. He stops for a while, as if to pay his own respects, and then looks back at Brennan. That man is keeping the memories of troops who lost their lives for this country safe. People like you may stand here and say you're free, because men and women died without names or faces, and you think it was all right to hit him and cause a disturbance here? Brennan opens his mouth and then shuts it. "Sir, I'm Officer Jenna Torres," Jenna says as she walks up. "I didn't realize he was going to do that. I'm sorry." Her voice is shaky yet clear. Hayes glances at her and his face softens a little. "I get what you mean, officer. But this isn't about you." He turns to Brennan and says, "Lieutenant, drop your guns right now." Brennan considers for a second, then unclips his taser and service weapon and drops them on the ground with a loud crash. The MPs walk up and take up the gear without any trouble. Hayes continues, "You and your team will be let off these grounds. Your training privileges are on hold until your chain of command has had a chance to look at the whole thing." Brennan's mouth drops open. "Sir, you can't. I mean, I'm part of an authorized..." Hayes cuts him off. "You could watch, but you couldn't become involved. You went too far, Lieutenant, and you did it in front of the people who come here to pay their respects to the dead. You did it in front of kids." He points to the crowd, where the little girl from earlier is holding her mom's hand and looks afraid. "You did it in front of that guard who is still on duty even though you did it." Danny has done another march. Click, click, click. He stops, turns, and stands at attention. The taser darts are still dangling from his leg. His glove is splattered with blood, but his expression is blank and his posture is perfect. Hayes walks over to him and stops just off the march path. "Sergeant Carter, are you fit to stay on duty?" he says loudly enough for everyone to hear. Danny's jaw flexes a little, which is the only sign of the pain he's hiding. His voice is quiet and clipped. "Fit for duty, sir." Hayes gives a quick nod. "Carry on, soldier." Danny turns and takes his next 21 steps. The crowd watches, some with tears in their eyes, as he moves through the pain like it's nothing. Hayes turns back to the MPs and says, "Take the lieutenant and his team to the edge. You shouldn't converse to them until the leadership says it's okay." The MPs assent, and Brennan's crew starts to move, heads down and not looking at the crowd. Brennan tries one more time to save face. "Sir, this is wrong. I have permission from..." Hayes cuts him off. "You can't desecrate this ground. Lieutenant, you're done here." The MPs lead Brennan and his team away, and their SUVs follow like dogs that have been told to stop barking. Jenna looks back at Danny, her face tight with shame, but she doesn't say anything as she follows her team. Danny's boots keep clicking, but the plaza is quiet. The crowd is still there, but something has changed. They are no longer just tourists, they are witnesses. The veteran with the army cap moves closer to the barrier. His voice is rough but clear. "That boy has more honor in his little finger than that clown had in his whole team." Sergeant Maria Lopez comes out of the guard post to take Danny's place. The changeover goes smoothly, showing perfect discipline. Danny walks behind a privacy screen, where a medic is waiting. He has a slight limp, but he doesn't take the medic's arm or say anything. He knows he's done his job and that's all that matters. People in the square may hear General Hayes' voice as he talks to them. This isn't just a memorial. It's a vow to honor the troops who gave all and whose names we will never know. Sergeant Carter stood his ground today, not because he had to prove anything to that man, but because he promised those soldiers he would. That's what being strong looks like. That's what it is to be honorable. A few people in the crowd clap quietly, and others wipe their eyes. "Mommy, why didn't he fight back?" the little girl from before wonders as she pulls on her mom's sleeve. Her mother kneels down and talks quietly. "Because he's stronger than that, sweetheart. He is keeping something safe that is more important than him." Danny comes back as the sun rises. He is wearing a new uniform, and there is no indication of the taser's damage or the blood on his glove. He gets back on the march path and behaves like nothing happened. Click, click, click. 21 steps. Stop. Turn. The crowd is calmer now and has put their phones away. Their faces show that they are thinking. They have seen something today that they will remember. People nearby can hear the man with the cap talk again. That man held his dignity like a weapon, and it was stronger than anything that SWAT guy brought with him. A few people nod, and a kid nearby who had been quiet the whole time pulls out his phone. He's not taking a picture, he's typing something. It could be a post or a message to a friend. Whatever it is, it's about what he just saw. By lunchtime, word of the occurrence has gotten out. Brennan and his team are at a military base where they are going to be assessed and likely end their training program. Jenna Torres writes an official apology and says she will learn from what happened. But life goes on at the tomb. Danny keeps marching, his steps as steady as ever, and his eyes fixed on that eternal point. He doesn't know that people are talking about him or that his story is already spreading beyond Arlington. He doesn't need to know. He's not here for the praise. So here's a question for you listeners. When someone tries to bring you down, what's the best thing to do? Fight back or stand your ground? Is it still strong to be silent when everyone else is shouting for attention? To perform your duty no matter what? Sergeant Danny Carter answered that question today. He didn't yell or strike anyone. He just stood there strong for the guys who couldn't stand anymore. If this story made you feel the same way it made us feel, please hit the like button. Tell someone who needs to hear it, like someone who thinks being strong means being the loudest person in the room. Please leave a comment below and tell us what you think real strength looks like. If you've ever been to Arlington and felt the weight of that place, please tell us. Your stories are very important. Hit the bell and subscribe so you don't miss our next one. We have more tales of men and women who fight for something bigger than themselves. Remember this till then. Real strength doesn't have to shout, it just stands. And when it does, even the loudest voices run out of things to say. Have you ever gone to Arlington National Cemetery? Have you ever seen the tomb of the unknown soldier up close? This one will make you think about what strength really means, so let us know what you think.